Well, having mastered the basics, we're now aiming for acceptable control of the vehicle. And for this, it helps if we choose quiet roads, avoiding where possible busy road junctions where a learner may feel rushed or become anxious through a feeling of holding up all the rest of the traffic. From now on, all instruction will be based on what we call the system of vehicle control. This system incorporates both the teachings of the Department of Transport and the Home Office Police Driver's Manual into one very simple, easy-to-learn, habit-forming routine. By learning a uniform and methodical system, you'll have an increased margin of safety at all times. The system gives time to react. This system of vehicle control is a system or a drill, each feature of which must be considered in sequence by a driver on his approach to any hazard. So first of all, what is a hazard? Well, it's anything containing an element of actual or potential danger. The three main types are physical features, that's to say junctions and bends. Then there are those created by other road users, even directions given by a passenger inside the car, and those created by variations in road surface or weather conditions. In fact, anything that may cause you to change your speed or change your direction. So let's imagine that you're driving this car and you're going to approach this junction at 30 miles an hour in top gear, and your intent is to turn left. So let's establish this safe system for driving. Mirrors, signal, position, speed, gears, junction, turn left. So what's the first thing you should do? The highway code says, use your mirrors often so that you know what's behind you. And well before you overtake, or turn left, or turn right, or slow down, or stop, use your mirror. After all, how can you make any safe decisions unless you know all the facts? Knowing what's behind at this moment, another car for instance, is just as important as knowing what's ahead and on either side. Mirrors really means taking effective rear observations. Now, this may well mean looking round over your shoulder as well as using the available mirrors in and on the car. What's next? Well, once again, the highway code gives this advice. Give signals if they would help or warn other road users. Give only the correct signals, as illustrated in the highway code. Give them clearly and in good time. Now, as drivers, we have 5 different ways of signaling. The oldest, and now least used, are the arm signals. I intend to move out to the right or to turn right. I intend to move into the left or turn left. And looked at from the side, that looks like this, a forward circular motion of the arm. Then, I intend to slow down or stop. A nice, clear, easily visible up and down movement. But of course, direction indicator signals, that's to say flashing lights, are the most commonly used form of signaling. Now, they're often misused. They're either not cancelled, they're used too late, or they're not used at all. And they must be regularly checked to see if they're clean and working properly. But probably more important than all this is the mistake that many people make of using direction indicator signals too early. Let me explain what I mean. We'll go back to our car on our hypothetical road, and once again we are proceeding down here with a view to turning left there. If we start to signal with our direction indicator signals that we propose to turn left, and we start the signaling here, the effect on a car there might be to give this driver the impression that we propose turning left down this little road, whereupon this can happen. Disastrous results. So, don't use the signals too early. The correct place would be there. And you'd be surprised how many drivers actually indicate that they're going to turn left when they intend to indicate that they're going to turn right. Now, stop light signals, that's to say the red lights at the rear of the car that come on when you press the brakes, are far and away the easiest ones to forget. And the reason is, of course, that you can't see them operating when you're in the car. Now, if they're clean and working properly, as by law they must be, they can definitely help to warn following traffic. But it's a very good idea to find out how far you have to press the brake pedal before those lights come on. Horn signals are also often misused or not used at all. The horn should never be used aggressively, but early enough for people to know that you're there. Headlamp flashing signals mean the same as horn signals. This signal should only be used to alert people of your presence. The next feature is position. The safety position is the correct place for a vehicle in relation to the danger, actual or potential, existing at that moment, and it is of paramount importance. There will, of course, be occasions when you will already be in the safety position. That's why we don't use the word maneuver, but position. At other times, of course, you will have to move into the safety position. Let me give you a for instance. Let's pretend that the little red car here has broken down and is partially blocking this side of the carriageway. It follows, doesn't it, that you will, taking due precautions, have to move into the safety position before negotiating the left-hand bend. Well, now let's consider speed. You may well need to adjust your speed whilst approaching a hazard. So let's clear the decks and rearrange our plan a little, like so. Now, in these circumstances, we need to have slowed down to about 10 miles an hour. This will enable us safely to steer around the corner and be able to stop, if necessary, well within the distance we can see to be clear. But what about gears? Well, the important thing about gears is always to match the gears to the road speed. Now, fourth gear would not be a suitable gear for 10 miles an hour. So at about 4 car lengths back, about there, we select second gear. By using this system, we are now not only aware of what is happening around us and signaling our intentions, but we're in the right position, speed, and gear to deal with this junction. But remember, those things don't happen at this junction. They all happen well before this, well before the parameters even of our plan here. In real life, you're talking about putting this whole system into operation way back here. Mirrors, signal, position, speed, gears, junction. Previously, you used the system for approaching junctions. Now let's take a look at the junctions themselves, and you must firstly understand the road markings. At junctions, the minor roads will often have stop or give way lines to tell you which traffic has priority. Now, give way lines are the double broken white lines across the carriageway. On busier junctions, there may well also be a triangle marked on the carriageway itself, and indeed a give-way sign before the give-way lines. Now, give-way means that all traffic approaching the junction from this road must be prepared to slow down and, if necessary, stop in order to give precedence to traffic here on the major road. Stop lines consist of either a pair of lines on older junctions, or in this case, the rather more modern single unbroken white line here at the junction. Usually, you'll also find a stop sign at the junction and the word stop painted on the road before the stop line or stop lines. These are usually found at junctions where visibility is restricted. You must stop and make certain that it is clear to proceed before crossing these lines. It is an offence not to stop at the stop line. On the approach to most junctions, there will be a hazard warning line marked along the centre of the road. Now, this is a single broken line with rather long markings and rather short gaps. And although this marking does indicate your approach to a hazard, it gives no idea of priorities. At crossroads in quieter areas, the junctions may not be marked at all, which means, of course, that you must proceed with extreme caution and be prepared to give way. And you must take exactly the same precautions when emerging from an unmarked T-junction like this. Again, the sort of thing that's frequently found in country areas. This car is approaching a junction with give-way lines, where the driver must be prepared to give way to traffic on the other road. At this junction, he must stop. At this crossroads, it is evident that vehicles on this road have priority because the other roads have give-way lines. If the crossroad is unmarked, you must be prepared to give way, whichever way you approach it. Deal with left turns first, and when you can safely cope with them, then go on to the right turns. And practice these turns in quiet areas until your supervisor need only give direction rather than instruction. And remember this, there is no such thing as right of way, only priorities. Even if you're approaching a traffic light showing green, that does not mean that you have right of way. The highway code tells you green means you may go only if the way is clear, and that means look first. If a driver of a heavy goods vehicle lost his brakes as he approached his red light going downhill, could he give you the right of way?
So any questions about the procedure first?
Putting it into practice is
yes,
like we've said
but you
before.
understand
Yeah.
what we're going to try and do.
Yeah.
Right, so don't worry if you don't get it right first time, we'll sort it out. So if you just like to do your usual safety checks, good. You got used to doing all of that
Yeah,
now.
I can remember them now.
And if you just like to move off here, is this just a normal move off?
No, it's one of your favourite hills.
Ah, I keep springing these ones on you, don't I?
By the time I take my test, I'll be able to do wheel starts. If
That's
nothing
right.
else. I'm
Stop
waiting
it.
for that car.
That's right, correct.
Yeah.
They'll all come now when we're ready to go.
Yeah.
I pay them to come round there at that
I
time.
bet you
know.
do. So I don't need a signal now, do I?
That's it. Good. Well done. Now here's a hazard here, but he's gone to the other side. So what are we going to do at this point in
Check my
time?
mirror.
Good. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Just as well you did, because he could have come straight across the other side.
Yeah.
And you eased up there, but we didn't need any more of that, the routine. But always start off that way, right?
Yep.
Now we're going to take the second on the left here, so we can't start to signal until we're there, but you can check the mirrors now.
Yeah.
Now your signal and brakes. Quite a bit of brake. Now your gear. Mirrors again and watch into the road. And check your mirrors to see what's followed you, if anything. Okay, and then proceed. Quite clear on that? Now further down here, not this first turning, but we're going to take the second one on the left. So again, mirrors,
Yep.
signal, brakes, quite a bit, and then we're going to do 4 to 2 this time. Gears, mirrors again, what's your position? Okay, you get the idea there?
Yep.
Right. Now, next on the right, so that's it, good. And your signal, don't leave it too late. Brake quite a bit and your 3 to 1 change this time. Have a look, all clear?
No.
No, right, so what are you going to do?
Put me on brake on.
Yeah. Okay. Now, while we're waiting for these, look to the right. Is there anybody coming? No?
No.
Right, so that we're ready to go now. As soon as it's clear and they're not holding up the car behind us then. Which way is the car behind going?
I don't know.
No, because you hadn't checked, had you?
No. No. I didn't.
Right, you see the importance of that? He's
Didn't
away the
even
other
see
way.
there were a car behind me.
Yeah, no, that's the point. So when you're sitting at a junction, always keep checking the mirrors so that you're aware is there somebody behind me or not. Now, ease off a little bit, check your mirrors because we've got another hazard here, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
Right, follow around. Now down here we're going to turn off to the right. So, mirrors, that's it. And you brake, slow it right down in your gear. And keep it slow. And then round with the steering. Good, that's nice. Okay, mirrors again. As soon as you join a new road, always check the mirrors again.
Okay.
Right, okay. Not this first one, but the next on the right. What are you going to do about your speed this time, once you've signalled? A little bit more.
Can I go around here?
Now, yes.
Alongside
And
it, road.
then pull up on the left, no, a bit further forward. We'll go further forward and go left so as we're not getting in the way of this one. Right, so your approach sequence, try it yourself. Slow it down a little bit more if you can, yeah. Didn't appreciate, I think it was downhill.
No.
Right, and next right, and then after that we'll pull in.
Okay.
Your signal, that's it. And then once we get round here, we'll find a safe place to pull up. Anywhere here? Mirrors? Any need for a signal?
No.
No? Right.
Nobody around.
Okay, make it safe. Right, just relax your feet just now. Right, that was hard work then, was it?
Yes.
Or not? Yes, it
Yes,
was, because there was a bit more to it, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Right, you were asking a question back there, a couple of junctions back. Could I just turn there? What was your reason behind that question?
Well, there was a car parked right opposite the junction.
I'm with you now, yes. I thought you'd maybe seen somebody coming towards me. I hadn't. No, I see what you're getting at. Could you go across into the what we would term the wrong side of the road, to the other half of the road? You had no choice, had you?
No.
So when we've said about passing stationary vehicles before, how much clearance do you give them?
With a car door.
Yeah. So he shouldn't be parked there. That's the danger. If somebody was parked opposite this junction here, we'd need to start turning onto the wrong side of the road, wouldn't we?
Yeah, but it says not to cut corners, so that's what it was.
Well, it's not a case of never cutting corners. The thing
Right.
is, you avoid cutting corners if you can, but in cases like that, you haven't got
I don't
any
have any
choice. Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
What you must make sure of before you go in is if we were coming in here in a similar situation, you've no markings either to guide you, is make sure there's nobody coming out the way.
Yeah, make sure it's clear.
Yes.
Yep.
Otherwise you wouldn't go round.
Right,
There was nobody coming out, was there?
No.
No, so there was no reason why we couldn't go round.
Right.
Okay. Any other part of the procedure that you weren't sure of there?
Just getting my speed down, really.
Yes,
So
getting the
a bit
speed
too-
down. So what you found a little bit difficulty with it at times was your steering. It wasn't your steering it was the problem. It was the fact you weren't quite getting your speed down enough. If you go slow enough, you've got time to steer. I mean, as you become more proficient and have more experience during your lessons, you will be able to move the wheel around a little bit quicker, but that's not the main aim anyhow. You want to be slow enough to stop if necessary and give yourself ample time to
Getting
to
everything
get
in
the
the right
steering.
order and
Yeah,
giving
that's
yourself
right.
time into it.
Yeah, that's right. So just a little bit rushed there, but if you slow it down a little bit more, get the braking in, get the gear in. What was beating you at times there was the fact that a lot of the territory we've been in there was on slight slopes. It looked level, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
You see, and that was catching you out because the car was going away on
I was having to use my brake
the
a lot
momentum
more.
was still there, and you weren't compensating for that by slowing it down enough. Okay,
Yeah,
but other
that's
than
fine.
that, you did very well.
That's fine.
So, any questions before we go and do some more practice?
No.
No, you're quite happy with that?
Yeah.
Right, we'll move off when you're ready and
Okay.
we'll do some more practice of these and then we'll move on after that.
All right.
Okay, when you're ready,